Hello and welcome to another Pauper video. You might notice that I got earphones in. I'm here with my good pal Alan from the Patreon subscription. How's it going, Alan?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. And right now, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the league together. And then this was kind of a request from you. And then you can ask me questions as we go along, maybe join in the fun with a couple of comments. And what we're going to do is we're going to take poison throughout another league. I've been testing this a lot today in preparation for this. Some of it went really well, some of it didn't go so well. So we'll see how it lines up against the current metagame. So this deck is really good against mid-range and control. Somewhat difficult to face mono red and blue white glitters. Whereas the blue terror deck seems to be, I think, favored for us, but a little bit difficult as well. And if you're not familiar with it, this deck uses cards like Infectious Inquiry and Prologue to Phyresis, which say each opponent gets a poison counter. Prologue is one draw card. Infectious draws two cards. And then we are using the depletion lands of Hickory Woodlot, Peat Bog, Sappers and Scary. These all have counters on them. You can remove a counter to add 2 mana, so green, black, and blue. And then we put the counters back on them because if the counters go off the land entirely, you lose the land with a lot of proliferation. So we've got Thirsting Roots, Proliferate, or search your library for a basic land and put it in your hand and shuffle. Contentious Plane, which is draw a card, proliferate. Experimental Augury, which is anticipate, proliferate. And Vivisurgeon's Insight, which is the big whammy. I love this card. Draw 3 cards and proliferate. While we're putting counters back on our lands, we basically have each land tapped for 2, which is kind of like Tron mana. And we've got Everflowing Chalice, which is ETB with a charge counter for every time it was kicked. And you can tap it for mana. So as you're proliferating, you're making this tap for even more mana every time, which is sweet. And then our big proliferation counter payoff is Pentad Prism, which it's Sunburst, so you pay mana and you put hopefully 2 counters on it, and then you remove a charge counter to add 1 mana of any color. As long as it still has any charge counters on it, you can keep proliferating onto it, which means that these here basically become our cost reducers. Because this, assuming it has 2 counters on it, use one of the counters to pay for Contentious Plan. This puts the counter back on it, so that makes Contentious Plan basically just cost 1 mana. And if you have 2 Pentad Prisms in play, we have free spell, 3 mana for this. So these are our cost reducers. And then Thirsting Roots ends up being basically a dark ritual, which is really fun. There's another card called Steady Progress that is
another proliferate, right?
Yeah, this one is a proliferate and draw a card as well, but it costs 3 mana. And I found that to be very expensive, just really too expensive. Because the way that the deck works, you're looking for your opening hand of having a depletion land and some sort of basic. So on turn 2, you untap, you have 3 mana. You play one of these for your 2 mana. You have 1 mana left over, and then you use one of the mana from these to cast one of any of these 12 spells, which proliferates, gets your mana back onto your depletion land, bumps this back up, and then you untap on turn 3 with 5 mana. So that's like our best possible opener. So this Steady Progress, because it costs 3 mana, does not allow for that really good opener, which I think makes Thirsting Roots better in the deck. Then the last card here is Deep Analysis. We also have 4 Weather the Storms basically as our Time Walk kind of effect, where we just try to make it so our opponent can't attack us. Like we'll chain off, build up a big weather, and then that's it. And then Deep Analysis for our big draw spell as well that's kind of really good against counterspell decks. And that gives us a ton of draw. So we've got all of these that draw 1 card. That's 12. And then we've got 4 that draws 2. So that's 20 cards that we could draw. Plus another 4 that draw 4. So that puts us to 36. And then another 4 that draw 3, which is 48 cards of card draw power. So basically, as you go through the deck, if you chain successfully and every spell resolves, you should be able to draw your entire deck by like turn 5, right? Because we start with 7 cards in hand. Yeah, turn 5. 48 card draw power. We'll just do it that way. It's really awesome. For the mana base, it's all blue mana except for 1 each of each basic because we can get those with the Thirsting Roots. and we really just are a blue deck splashing a couple of other colors. In the sideboard here, I've got 3 Bring the Ending, which is a mediocre but decent counterspell. It says counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. And if the controller has 3 or more poison counters, it's just counter target spell. And then Anoint with Affliction, which is exile target creature for the same with mana value 3 or less and has corrupted, so it's the same kind of thing. If its controller has 3 or more poison counters, you just exile the creature entirely. So Anoint with Affliction I really like playing because I always run into walls and elves and nonsense like that. And I'm hoping that this could potentially be good against glitters, but my plan might just be to try to race them. We have 2 Arms of Hadar, which is a 1 black pip. Creatures target player controls get -2/-2 until end of turn. So this having 1 black pip matters a lot. You could play Drown in Sorrow, but it's not often that we are going to have a Peat Bog in play, and we can pay for the mana off Arms of Hadar off of just a Swamp or just a Pentad Prism and be able to cast it. Then we have 4 Moments Peace for the aggro decks that are weak to fog, like Heroic, and it's also very good against a mid-range deck like Gardens, where they have a lot of powerful big creatures, so we can use this to slow them down enough to win the game. Because this deck usually kills on like turn 6 or 7, sometimes turn 5, and nut draw would be like turn 4. And then Serrated Arrows here is a sleeper. It has ETB with 3 arrowhead counters, so once again it synergizes really well with the proliferation. And you can just like ping things, proliferate, and when you proliferate, you get to get the minus counter on the creature as well as get your arrows back, which is really sweet. I love this deck. So do you have any questions before we jump into it?
Is there a card that you absolutely need to have?
We missed the last bit.
Is there a card that you absolutely have to have in your opening hand?
Right. Your
Besides
opener,
mana?
your opener has to have, first of all, you have to have mana, but you're really looking for depletion land plus basic plus one of these plus a proliferation spell. You also are really focused on having blue mana. So if you have just Woodlots and Peat Bogs, it's a really sketchy to keep that unless you have like Woodlot, Peat Bog, Prism, and Thirsting Roots or something, because you can chain off with these and the Pentad Prism. It's worth noting that like our best proliferation draw spell costs 2 blue pips, so I really try to prioritize having blue on the table.
Okay,
Is there
cool.
anything else?
No, let's do it.
Let's get into it. So don't forget to check out the Patreon for primers and sideboard guides for this kind of deck. Hit me up with like and subscribe. Try to make it through the whole video. We'll see it. We'll see you in the matches. Let's get there. All right, round 1 was Ornithopterismo. That sounds like Ornithopter. I'm afraid that they're on glitters. So this hand we can't keep because we just have 1 land.
Okay.
If we had land plus a depletion, that could have been a keep. We have to mulligan. Okay. So this hand has a lot going on. It's very good. Question is, what do we keep? Like, making land drops is really important. Basically, no, I want to keep this. I think the question comes down to Peat Bog or Everflowing Chalice to put on the bottom. I'm on the play too. Interesting. I'm gonna put the Peat Bog down because I think it's more likely that I draw lands than draw more chalices. And then just lead on the Peat Bog. That's the turn. So our options are to Everflowing Chalice on turn 2 and play the Scary. Looks like, okay, so we draw an island. So we can go, I'm just gonna play the Scary and pass. I want to maximize all of my mana here. We only have 1 card draw spell too, so maybe waiting will help. Black, red. This smells like regular Grixis Affinity, which should be a good matchup. We just have to like get out ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Clan Shaman. So we'll go Pentad Prism, and then another Pentad Prism, and then play land. Play the Everflowing Chalice with 1, and then we can use this mana, cast the Experimental Augury. We're out of spells. Okay, we found an Insight. Perfect. Okay, any order here, and then we just click all of our stuff. Boom. So that was turn 3. The turn 4, we're going to untap with 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11 mana. 12 mana on turn 4. Not too bad.
Awesome. No, that was awesome. And the shaman really does nothing.
Does nothing. It attacks. And as long as, they're probably not playing something like Negate in their main deck, so we should be able to just straight up resolve this Vivid Surgeon's Insight. I probably will not play the basic because there's no really need to. You could try to not, you could try playing the basic and then casting the Insight off these lands because this will let you have some more blue mana. But we're going to be putting counters on here, here, and here, so as long as we just use our lands first, then it does the cost reduce type effect with these starts. Deadly Dispute for the opponent. Sacrificing the Blood Fountain so they don't think I'm going to kill their things, which is a fair guess. So they're representing Metallic Rebuke here. Not anymore. We're going to cast a Gear Seeker Serpent. Cool. So they got to announce the cost there. Okay, so we find a Thirsting Roots, which, okay, I think I'm just going to play this way. Draw 3 cards. 2. And then let's Experimental Augury. Find an Infectious Inquiry. We really need to get them poisoned. And the Infectious Inquiry draws 2 cards, which is better than just drawing 1, even though it would have been a Proliferate. And then we're prioritizing getting our Inquiry off. Draw 2. Oh boy.
Nice.
Oh boy. It's happening. We're going to Insight. Draw 3. Poison you. So now if we Augury, it's basically the same, because Augury is free here because we have 1 and 1. Just Augury. Another Augury, perfect. Well, I don't know, I keep saying perfect, but that was quite good, obviously. And you can see that our chalice keeps growing. Augury again. So we can take the prologue here since we already have the weather, and we're going to weather for a lot. You.
I was just about to ask that. If you were
And now we can Thirsting Roots. So it only costs 1, so it's going to make these 3, and this is getting bigger still. Proliferate. Looking at all the stuff. Go to 5, and then I can prologue. I think that's fine. And then here I'm going to go down to 1 counter on each of these for 27 life. Weather the Storm. That's the turn. So they're at 6 poison. It's turn 4. We're at 44 life. We've got 6 power in the play.
Yeah, that was an awesome turn.
It's just storming off.
Yeah.
So now we probably want to play out the Hickory Woodlot just to get that onto the table so that if we need green mana, we can use it. Just assuming, trying to see whether or not we're actually going to draw into any more proliferation spells. Opponent plays a Seed of Synod, and they're going to swing out for 6. So we'll go to 38. Bam. Okay. Find another Weather the Storm. So let's Deep Analysis first. I like to tap this for the 2 blue, just because it makes it easy. Deep Analysis. We should have double Deep Analysis. I'm trying to find a proliferation spell so that I can... Okay, there we go. So now I don't need the Woodlot. I play the blue land, play the Contentious Plan. So finding the Contentious Plan allows me to have more green sources, so I can play my blue source, because it's adding mana back to the Pentad Prisms. And then we can Insight, draw. So they appear to be dead. They have a Negate in the main deck. Man! Did not expect. Okay, I guess that's good though. Let's Proliferate. You. Done. I now draw 2 more cards. Just building the storm count. And green, Weather Storm. Post board is kind of difficult to fight through these decks because they have so much interaction. They've got a lot of Pyroblast and negates and stuff. Opponent Reckoner's Bargains to draw some cards. But this is why I like the deep analysis, right? Like, we lost our draw 3, which really stinks, but we still have a draw 4 in hand.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Looks like they're playing a Kenku. That means that they have 9 damage. Your Enforcer. So you've added a lot to the table. Once again, deep analysis. My Chalice taps for 10. Analysis again. Okay, we found the poison. No, that doesn't win the game though. Let's deep analysis again. Okay, that does win the game. Inquiry. And poison you. And we won on turn 6, just like I said.
Nice. Perfect.
So sideboarding here, we have a few options. We could bring in the Moment's Peace. I also like bringing in something like Serrated Arrows because they're sort of slow and it really takes out a lot of their stuff. And sometimes they bring in Gorilla Shaman, so we can cut the Chalice and bring in the Serrated Arrows. And then my plan is just to try to force through their interaction, and then recognize if and when they have a counterspell up, and just try to play through it by baiting, basically. I've been liking having 20 lands as well. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, you seem pretty consistent with pulling land.
The other thing is, like, Bring the Ending can be good against Pyroblast. Like I said, Moment's Peace. But I do like Serrated Arrows versus mid-rangey decks. Just does so much work. One ping on a Mirror Enforcer, chains some spells, it's dead. Keep pinging your stuff down. Okay. Really powerful hand. If we had a depletion land, this would have been pretty good, because we could turn to the Pentad plus the Contentious Plan, but we have to have at least 2 lands in hand. So we have, I think I keep this and get rid of the Thirsting Roots. So we're going to play it relatively slowly by playing the Peat Bog, and then the Scary, and then try to do stuff. So we want to be able to resolve the Infectious Inquiry plus the Contentious Plan. Opponent is going to hold open counter. No. Okay, so I think I'm just going to play the Inquiry this turn. Oh.
There you
Plans are changing. Let's play the Prism and just use the Contentious Plan for the blind draw. Maybe that's not worth it. I like getting the Prism onto the table and pass the turn. The nice thing is that the Infectious Inquiry, they can't Pyroblast it, they have to have a negate. So if they have this open, then we maybe, like, it's just this, we can worry about a Metallic Rebuke. They're playing a Gear Seeker, so they're going for the beatdown plan. Okay, so an Inquiry,
now you're on
land, play the Pentad Prism. That's the turn. So they're clocking us. Discards a Krark. So at this point, we're looking for Serrated Arrows or Weather the Storms, because 5 damage a turn is a lot. Playmaker Wellspring. Land. Tax. The Contentious Plan here. With a Scary. With a Contentious Plan. Okay, so they don't counter the plan. I think I'm going to pass to them.
Would you play the Augury on their turn?
Yeah, because as an instant, maybe I can get them to do something and tap them low. I really need to resolve the Insight. Attack for 5. If they have double Galblast here, I just Augury in response, I guess. They what? Reckoner's Bargain? I mean, they could have double Galblast and kill us right now. Oops. So I have to use blue, cast Augury. They don't know that I don't have Weather the Storm. I have another Augury. Put my mana back. Cast that Augury. Well, I'll take the draw card. So they likely have a negate. Try deep analysis. Aeroblast.
Oh,
I wonder if they have a second. Try insight. Second pyroblast. Bad. Okay, so we can either with deep analysis here, we're dead. We don't have weather the storm, so I think I just have to hope they don't have a galvanic. Find augury. We have a thoughtcast. We basically just assume that they have like 50 pyros. Coming in for 5. Go to 3. They go for galvanic, we have to respond with an augury.
weather.
Yep, looking for weather. I mean, we didn't find a weather the storm in almost 20 cards. And actually more than 20 cards because of the experimental auguries. Okay, they cast a shaman. It's not the red spell I was worried about. Blood Fountain. 5 cards in hand. We're gonna go proliferate, put you to 6. You draw 2. I think they have a negate.
Yeah, but would you negate that? Looks like that.
So now we're in the clear. We have, if we find a weather the storm, okay, we find insight. We go to 7.
The bottom.
And now we can draw 3 cards. And we'll have 2 mana. So, oops. If we can find augury and contentious land, we win.
There's your
Okay.
weather.
We go to 8. Done. Green. Thirsting Roots. Guess I'm going to play out my green land. Proliferate. You go to 9. 1. And then Weather the Storm. So that worked out pretty decently. We gain 18. We're going to get hit for 6. And then in order to cast these deep analysis, it's going to cost us 3 life per. So it's another 6, so we're going to be at 12. But any one proliferation spell wins the game.
Yep.
When this deck first came out, Affinity was really big, and people were like, how do you beat Affinity? I was like, just beat them. Just force through. It's really deep analysis that is why you get to force through. I shouldn't have said anything. Please. Okay, so I'm basically sitting here hoping they do not rip now Spellbomb. It's already out of my mouth. I can't stop it. They drew some cards with Reckoner's Bargains. They have 2 Pyroblasts potentially. They've already used 2 Pyros. I don't know how many Pyros these decks are playing. Oh, they're tapping mana. They Deadly Dispute, so they only have 1 spell they can cast now. So we're going to draw at least 3 cards. 1 for draw step and then 2 off the deep analysis. We might see just a scoop here. We're going to deep analysis. They're going to Pyro. Don't do it. Let me have my fun. Okay, so we win the game here. Let's draw 2 more.
Just to bait them.
Well, I don't think they have anything that they could do here off 1 mana. But I just want to see what our options are. And we'll just draw 2, and they're dead. Cool. Starting out 1-0 makes me feel good, so let's go to the next match. Okay, round 2, we're 1-0 versus Proggy Boog, and they have an avatar that they got off of MagicCon Las Vegas, which is really just from filling out the survey, which I did not fill out. But I'm keeping this hand even though we don't have an artifact or a green or a way to cast Proliferation early, but I have faith. We have turn 2 Infectious Inquiry, hopefully drawing some sort of green source so we can Thirsting Roots. Oh god, okay. Scary.
Well, George Michael said you gotta have faith, so.
Man. So there's some concern here. They're playing... This is a Spell Pierce deck, which makes me not want an Inquiry. I'm just gonna pass. A Mental Note, a Boomerang? Bro. You gonna Boomerang me? So some of the blue decks are playing Boomerang and some of them are playing Snap. Okay, another land is very good. Pass. This again. Oh, they just want to counter our stuff, so we just keep playing lands. This is perfect. I love that we're just drawing lands here. Looks like they're going, okay. They have a draw stop for some reason. A little bit concerning. But they're not doing any milling for their terrors. They're just playing lands and passing, which is good for me. So
Just
now
gonna
we're at a
beat them somehow?
decision point. I can go Everflowing Chalice, cast Thirsting Roots. They have Counterspell. I can cast Contentious Plan. And they have another Counterspell. And I'm dead. So let's start with the Thirsting Roots. Proliferate. Okay, that resolves. That's just Chalice. Nothing?
Interesting. Seems like they're baiting you.
I hope not. We will attempt to cast Contentious Plan. Okay. Now I can pass the turn, I think. So I have mana. I mean, we wasted 2 proliferates, but that's not that big of a deal. They mill a terror, perfect for me. I mean, that's not perfect. It's a good thing that they milled a terror. I like that. Or it is good for us that they don't have a giant creature. That's what I was trying to say. Now they have a giant creature. What have we done? Okay. So I'm gonna inquiry, poison you. So they care about the inquiry. Inquiry again, poison you. Play the woodlot. I'm still trying to play around a spell pierce. I really need a blue source. I need them to tap out. It casts Deep Analysis. Not a creature. Gets in for 6. Okay. Error, so they have 11 on the table. Cast a Delver. So they're threatening lethal. So all they have is Spell Pierce. I see the same amount of cards with. Guess I can just Experimental Augury. I'm really looking for. Okay. Weather the Storm. It's fine. What I really wanted was a Pentad Prism. You 1 1 1 1 1. So now I'm gonna tap my Chalice and draw cards with my Deep Analysis, trying to find a blue source. Did not find a blue source. I'm gonna cast this Chalice, then cast a Weather Storm. Gain 12, which is 1 turn, if it doesn't flip. No flip from the Delver. It's in. Okay. Another blue source is great. So I'm going to once again lead on a proliferation spell. Basically to add mana to my chalices. So I can hard cast a Deep Analysis. You 1 1 1 1. Okay. Alright, I like the augury. Let's use that. That looks at 3 cards. Pentad Prism. You 1 1 1 1 1 1. Done. Made the Pentad Prism. So that we could try to resolve Vivisector's Insight. Doesn't seem like they have Counterspell, but they could. If they have Counterspell, then we're hosed, but if they don't, we're in the money. So I'm gonna go for it. I think we're not in the money here. Spell Pierce, okay. Wow. Woo, that was scary. That was a risky maneuver. I do say so myself. Very nerve-wracking. Okay, Experimental Augury. Now I just feel like really safe though. Do do do. Another Pentad Prism. Okay, so if I Pentad Prism now, I think I do want the Pentad Prism. Just don't know if it's necessary. They showed me that they don't have Counterspell. So I can play another Pentad Prism. And really go all the way. Blue. Blue, I'm all in. Insight. If all they have left is a Spell Pierce. You have a Counterspell now? Don't understand. What's happening? Oh, lose focus. Okay. Yeah, got me there.
Well, the storm counts 9, so we're still gonna do a.
Now I'm just gonna do this. All right, you lose focused me. I'll just gain 30 life. It's fine. I really wanted that second prism, and I think I just got greedy, but if I hadn't gotten greedy, we'd have a second prism here, and we probably would have been able to resolve the insight on the next turn, so let's see if it'll wreck us. We have one prologue that we can cast with them to 7 poison.
When you have 8 ways of drawing cards.
I'm just going to draw cards off the big draws, or the deep analysis from hand first. Another blue spell, or blue mana. Let's draw again. Another 2 cards. Another chalice. Let's draw again. You can see how deep analysis just forces straight through them.
Yep.
Okay, so let's chalice on 1. What we do here is like each chalice on 1 is going to build it back up. Cast a multi-character 1. And we got the weathers in hand, so right now I'm not concerned about life anymore in this turn.
Sure.
You get 7 counters. We got another lose focus. No, they don't. Okay. Do. I love like how obscure this deck is too. People are really confused. They just give it up.
Yes. Well, that was awesome.
Let's go.
I feel like you rage quit.
Yeah, I think they were tired of it. They're like, I'm off it.
Yeah.
I'm off it. So I like to bring in the moments piece. Just slow down a little bit. And then cut 1 prologue. So we still have 6 artifacts, which is still good. We have land drops to make. But they are trying to attack us, so we're just trying to get more time walks basically with the moments piece. Pretty funny.
This deck, the mono blue, is it a fast deck, would you say, or is it a mid range?
Well, it's kind of like a tempo deck, an aggro tempo deck. They sometimes turn 1 Delver. And let's play Dog. Doesn't matter. So if they want to be hyper aggro here, what they'll do is upkeep Brainstorm. They just easy flip. Thoughts guard themselves. They mill Counterspell an island. They whiffed on an island. So we want to play the Pentad Prism and get our Contentious Lane off. So next turn we're going to have a bunch of mana. We have 5 mana now. So if they don't have a Spell Pierce available, we can cast the Viviser's Insight. We can also just put Infectious Inquiry. They're holding up a Spell Pierce. We go to 14. I think I'm going to play the Woodlot and pass the turn. They Thought Scour themselves, milling Counterspell again. So they only have 2 counterspells left in their deck, and they whiffed on lands. At this point, they're really focused on making sure the Delver works. So we just have to play around Spell Pierce. 2. It's going to cast this Insight. Okay. And next turn we can play Chalice and Weather. Or we wait a couple turns. We're at hand size, so we have to discard. We'll discard a Peat Bog. They Thought Scour themselves again, milling Brainstorm. Finally finds a land. Let's see if they go multi-terror. Nope. Okay, debug. Pass the turn. I guess I have to play the Inquiry on the next turn, otherwise I'll be dead. They mill 2 lands off a mental note. They're like, go, go, Delver. You gotta imagine they have a terror or something at this point. We don't.
Otherwise, they're cursing the world.
Right, we're gonna go play this Chalice. Null. Okay.
I don't know.
Play Infectious Inquiry. They're poisoned. Play land. It's Augury. Poison you again. Could Spell Pierce me. Okay, so we're at the point where we have a lot going on. Don't really need the extra artifact. I want the cards, I think. We got 2. 1. Then I'll cast the Storm. Gain 15. That's 5 more turns of Delver. You can see that they also went hard on the anti-artifact stuff, so we got under it with the Pentide Prism, and we're kind of blanking all their annuls that are potentially in their hand. Brainstorm for our opponent. So it's next turn, probably just play the Scary out, and then play Inquiry and Deep Analysis. Or maybe just play the Deep Analysis. Plays a Terror. Holding up Counterspell, maybe? Nope. It's Cryptic Serpent. So now we're free to do as we wish. Infectious Inquiry. Play this. Analysis. Okay, found an Augury. The Augury. And then, okay, we'll just take, kind of a tough decision. We have a bunch of Moments pieces, but they are going to be probably countering some of them, especially at this juncture. I think on this turn I want to cast the Weather the Storm. So
The augury gives you poison, though.
give me poison, but I don't really need to this is sort of a eventuality deck. Like I'm eventually going to kill you. Nothing you can do to stop me. So maybe I just need the cards, but I'm a little bit concerned about these not having that many depletions on them. We are going to go to 2 here. I really want the cards. I'll take the Augury, I guess. I'm a little concerned. You. I'll get my stuff back. Augury again. I'll take the Contentious Plan. Get a 5. And then I'm just going to Weather the Storm. Another 15. Opponent cycles a Lorien Revealed. They have 3 mana available. You can play a Delver. So yeah, we're getting to the stage where we just fog them. Attack for a lot.
Holding up counters.
I think I want to play the Woodlot because of the Moments pieces. Let's go Contentious Plan. I like to just tap my off-color stuff for the Contentious Plans and stuff. Okay. A Dead Prism. Done. And then I will Deep Analysis. Counterspell would be sad here. Okay. Do you think we have enough Moments pieces? That's the turn. We can discard the non-blue lands. Okay. So if they have a tap your land thing, that would be bad. But they do have boomerangs.
Now he thinks he has lethal.
If I go tap, tap, play Moments piece. You do not have lethal. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 turns. Everything's working out according to plan.
Cursing the sky. What setting if you want to?
Considering whether or not to counter it. Does not counter. Okay. Cycles of Lorien. Our issue here is that we don't have card draw. Cast a Murmuring Mystic. That at this point, any damage is lethal, so it doesn't matter. Pass the turn. They reveal a Lorien Revealed. So drawing 3 cards is pretty awesome for them. We will tap, tap, tap. So here I'm allowing myself to have the option of casting a second Moment's Peace and not using all the green off of the woodlot here. That allows me to, like, when they counter this, I now have a second Moment's Peace. And I don't use a depletion here. Okay, I will pay. Sure. It's a turn. They have Lorien Revealed in hand. Come on, card draw. This is the position where you're like sitting around waiting. Yeah, buddy. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I like to do it like this because I can go 1 blue and 3 and 1 blue and 1 to cast the full deep analysis. Draw 2. And draw 2 again.
8, 9.
Proliferate. Boom. Boom. Oops. You go to 8. Or 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I will draw a card. Oh, look. More proliferation. Aha! I'm not gonna. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Got him. On to the
Sweet.
next. So round 3 versus Purgatory 01, who likes to play mid-range decks, so that could be good for me. I have play Everflowing Chalice early, and Infectious Inquiry. I'm going to keep it. Looking to draw lands or a green source with a Peapog. I mean, we can lead on an early Infectious Inquiry and just hoping to face mid-range. Smoke over an island. Oh, jeez. So Fairies is like a nightmare matchup. That's the turn. Getting in. I'll play my Peatbog. That's the turn. We already poisoned them a little bit, so that's at least good. Okay. Continue making land drops. Opponent is nervous. They don't want to ninja.
Yeah.
Find a Web of the Storm.
Well, they probably have a, spell stutter.
They likely have a Spell Stutter Sprite. We made a land drop though, right? So let's pass the turn. We can end step the Experimental Augury on their turn.
Okay.
5 islands.
They're holding something.
What are you gonna do? There's a Snare Master Sprite. 5 cards in hand. With our Experimental Augury, I'm expecting them to counter it. So maybe I just pass and then Everflowing Chalice into the Spell Stutter. But they'll probably just pick up the Spell Stutter with the, let's attempt to Augury. So it would be really good for me if this resolved because I'd have this extra 2 mana. Okay, Sprite. I definitely saw that coming.
Yeah, but to say that's about as telegraphed as it gets.
Play the Chalice.
Are you thinking about the Vivisurgence Insight?
I mean, do you think they don't have Counterspell? I feel like they have Counterspell. I want to resolve one of these and I can't cast both of them, which is the problem at the moment.
Maybe bait them with a Thirsting Roots?
I don't have a green source.
Oh.
I'm going to cast this second Chalice because this gives me 4 mana to cast a Deep Analysis. I can pay for a Spell Pierce.
They've obviously got something.
Oh, they have another. I forgot that this was a fairy, so they can Spell Stutter again. That sucks. It's a turn. 3 cards in hand. So if they have a ninja, Life is Pain. That's this prologue. Wow, really?
Interesting. I know.
Man. This is really all I can do here. Prism. I'm going to use Thirsting Roots. Wow, okay. The cards. They have a Spell Pierce. Come on. Darn. Yeah, Fairies, Mono Blue Fairies is a nightmare matchup, and I really do not understand playing Mono Blue Fairies at the moment. Doesn't make any sense. We have a lot of sideboard cards. Getting these. So if I just go all in on killing their stuff that I don't necessarily need life gain, I think I'm gonna cut all the chalices. Okay, I'm just a removal deck now. I'm the control deck. I'm basically trying to make sure they don't have ninjas with the annoyance, and then arms and serrated arrows can clean up the board. I do have my one Weather the Storm in here for being able to cast a Deep Analysis.
They
We'll find
also had
out.
a pretty good hand, I think, to start with. They were just waiting for you. They
They
were
just
just
had
reacting.
infinite counters. Yeah, they just attack,
Yeah,
attack, attack, kill you. And they got to make land drops without ever cantripping whatsoever and holding all their stuff up.
exactly. So it's,
So I feel very unfavored in this matchup. We'll see how it goes. All right. We are on the play. Mulligan. Some good cards, but not enough stuff going on. Okay, I think we just put back the contentious plan here. Make land drops. I'll repeat bog. I really want to be able to have this Vivid Search's Insight to claw back in. It's possible Pentad Prism is not good enough. Like they're going to be, if they're going to be playing annuls and things like that. So maybe land drops is better than the Prism. I'm going to put back the contentious plan.
colors.
Yeah, we have all the colors. Put this back. Bog go. Plays a Miscreant.
Of
Maybe
course.
they're
I
just
feel like
like
that.
trying to test out. Okay, so we have the turn two. So that allowed us to have the possibility of the turn two artifact, which is nice. Contentious plan. Another plan.
Almost feels
Pass
like it's
again.
guaranteed when you play fairies that you're going to put out a miscreant.
Oh yeah, for sure. Play this. Pass the turn. So we could try to bait them so that we could resolve a Vivid Searcher's Insight. Kind of depends on them not just continuing to make land drops while doing nothing. This looks really familiar.
Oh, that's interesting.
So they have to counter the arrows, but they could
So
have
you
an
could.
annul. I'll pass right now. Once again. How are you just making land drops and doing nothing? Opponent's good at stuff. So
They've got a spell stutter, but it's not going to help.
you can cast the insight. They counter. 5 out of 3 mana left. I haven't made a land drop. I'll attempt to arrows. That'll be a null. It's frustrating. Press proliferate. Could have gone for deep analysis. Ooh, a hard cast of one mind. Oh, they have that land. Okay, so can cast contentious plan. And they counter. Then I just slam a Vivid Surgeon's Insight. Plan. We'll see. I mean, the Spell Stutter Sprite would be the answer at this moment. And if they do Spell Stutter Sprite, I can cast Experimental Augury and look for Anoint to kill the Sprite.
They're not sure. They want to do it, but they're not sure if it's.
Oh, they're thinking hard.
Mhm.
What you have to realize is that Fairies is a very hard deck. It's hard to decide when to counter things. That's my sarcasm. You should always just counter things. Just start countering things. It just feels like when you're on the other side from fairies that there's just like nothing you could have done. And
Right.
I played mono blue fairies for one time in a video, and I just felt like I was on the edge of collapse every single moment. And I ended up 5-0ing the league. I was like, how did that happen?
Wow, this guy's thinking hard.
We just let him think. Okay,
Oh, wow.
interesting.
Hard
Hard cast
counter spell.
counterspell. So that's fine. Draw 3 cards. Done. Let's prologue. Found a land. Now we can pass the turn. So now they're poisoned, which matters. Because
Another
now
hard.
they hardcast of one mind again. They just have no ninjas in hand apparently. They're gonna get
They,
in. I get to cast Experimental Augury, and then they Spellstutter Sprite, and then I anoint their Spellstutter Sprite.
They missed their
Augury.
land drop too.
Oh, wow. It would be so sad if your Spellstutter Sprite died. Bam. Aha. Gotcha. Okay, I'll take the Insight, even though we missed on that, what's his face? The one weather in our deck. And let's just Insight again. Go to 3. They land. Let's continue going. Their Stinger's decent. You. What I like about the Thirsting Roots is it just keeps our depletion lands around. Could save it for later. Let's proliferate. I feel like I have to get while the getting's good.
Yeah,
And let's
now we're
just.
tapped out.
So I could go for the draw 2 right now, or attempt to just prologue. I think I'll go for the draw 2. Another annoying's good. Pass again. So right now we're at 13, which is quite bad. That's one of the problems with only having one Weather Storm in the deck. Is Jace's Phantasm. Casting of one mind. Luckily, I can kill your Jace's Phantasm with my Anointment Affliction. Didn't expect that. Dead that.
They can pierce, and that's about it. There you
Let's draw some cards.
go. 8.
Log. So they could have a null here, I guess. So I'm just going to prologue again. That's the turn. You're at 8 poison. They have so many cards in hand. There's a Fairy Seer. Miscreant, draw a card. That's true. They
Oh,
scooped
but
it up. Wow. What happened to their hand? They must
yeah,
have just absolutely garbage. Completely garbage. So we know that they're bringing in a Knowles. Makes this Serrated Arrows plan a little bit worse. I guess we could just, weather. Although weather didn't seem very useful. So, well, we'll run it back. It's going to be harder on the draw. We want to look for a hand with a lot of lands in it. Okay. Oh! We found the hand. We can turn 3 of Vivisurgeon's Insight if they tap out. That is scary. With a Miscreant. Not one lander. I get to get them for 1. I wonder if they're just not playing ninjas. Why did I say that? One lot. Let's just draw a card. It casts Of One Mind. It's in for 3, so they get to loot now. Or they can flip the hacker with another hacker. So at this point, we're looking for prologue. Pass the turn. We are looking for Arms of Hadar pretty badly.
we're hoping they
6
tap
again.
out, right? So that we can
Yeah,
come online with
we
poison.
need to be able to resolve the Vivisurgeon's Insight, so see what they do. We're going to go to 12. The filtering through the hacker is just going to allow them to resolve a lot, or keep lands if they need lands, keep spells if they need spells. It's going to stop their flood or screw, basically.
Okay.
And they have their Of One Mind online. I think last time they just didn't get they just did not get their ninjas. And kept a hand with lands, that's for sure. Discards a Snare Master Sprite, so they don't want that fairy. They go to 2 fairies in play. I have an Anoint with Affliction. So I could go for the Anoint. I'm going to try for an Insight. Kill this. Right, so they have no more looting. We have 1 more Insight in hand. We can cast it next turn, but lose a lot of our lands. We get in for 2.
I think they have that ninja. Yep.
Hmm. All right, now it's just a slow death. We're just gonna lose, I think. So the only way I could see this working out for us is if they for some reason tap out and I draw Arms of Hadar. Prologue, Wisdom, they have the annul. Draw. All right. I'm not gonna sit through it. Let's go to the next round. So we're up against Grimflayer BR in round 4. We're 2-1. This is a player that likes to play Burn, I believe. Oh man, what a hand. Just not very good. Like we're so far away from everything. Gonna mulligan. Alright, I'll keep this. Back this. Keep analysis. So scary. Turn 2, we draw 2 cards off Infectious Inquiry. Turn 3, we can Augury off the 2 basics. And then have that mana back online. If they are on like Blitz or Burn, there's like not a lot of chance for us, but we're gonna try. That is Burn. Okay. We don't know if they're on Sticker Burn or not. Draw. Okay. So Woodlot allows us. Okay, they are on Sticker Burn. Some sort of Kuldotha list. Slams in for 1. We got to get the green source online. Play that. Pass the turn. Yes, we can. Play an Epicure and a Lightning Bolt. We're at 12 and 9 off the Bolt. Okay, Bolt. Sure. They're playing around Weather the Storm, except they played right into our hands. Ha 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 ha. I think because I have this weather, I need to be able to cast everything. So that's 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. So I need 7 mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can't cast it all anyway. So I might as well go Scary, Augury, Scary, Proliferate. You done. And then cast this Augury. You take the Augury or just the raw cards off the Deep Analysis. I think I take the Deep Analysis. You like we mulliganed, we just have to like try to just get cards. 12. Now they're kicking themselves for bolting. There's a Reckless Impulse. They are on Namesticker Goblin. So next turn they're gonna go off. There's Epicure. Take 4. Looking for another Weather the Storm. Gonna go Deep Analysis, floating one of each color. And the Thirsting Roots. Play Bog. Deep Analysis again. A 10. So I'm banking on them not. Oh, okay. So I think I pass now instead of using the Thirsting Roots because I save it for Storm Count. Right now they have 3, 4, 5 damage, so a Bushwhacker would kill me. Ugh.
Well, now we know
So
what they're on then.
we have the Arms of Hadar. We mulled to 5. We just have to go fast. So I'm going to take some risky plays by cutting a land and a Deep Analysis. We just need to go fast. We have to get as lucky as them, I guess.
Yep.
They didn't even get that lucky, really. It's an average hand for them. That's not very lucky. Okay, Peatbog, Peatbog. I'm going to keep this. And if I draw into any second color, I'll be okay. I think they're probably not on Lotus Petals. So they're looking to name sticker attack. Okay, there's a Woodlot. That's the turn. When it plays a Burning Tree. How many Burning
like
Trees do you have, my friend?
I have to say, this is exactly what they did last turn.
Well, I mean, the burn decks are very consistent, and they have the Bushwhacker, so could easily be dead next turn. Found a Weather the Storm. Pentad Prism. Done. Play the Everflowing Chalice. Play the Peat Bog. Now I'm going to pass the turn, and then if they don't threaten lethal, I can Experimental Augury end of turn, and then tap with a bunch of mana. That's my plan. One. Please don't threaten lethal.
About to say they're
God
going to go
damn.
Kuldotha.
Ridiculous.
It's like the perfect hand. But you can weather, right?
I can weather, but you can see like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So this is the moment. Should we screenshot this and send it to the PFP?
Yeah, sure.
So ridiculous. Average everyday experience over here in the Pauper leagues. So 4, 1, 2. There's nothing really that I can do. I guess I am going to Experimental Augury. Find a blue source. So my best course of action is to top deck Arms of Hadar right now. I have the blue source. I'm at 36. I'm going to go down to like 5, 11. My God.
Ask and you shall receive.
Unreal. Do you think we'll live through it though? Like, what the heck?
Perfect.
Yeah. You. Should I even gain 9 at this point? I feel like I should pass and wait for a bigger turn. That
You know
was
he did not think this was about to happen.
kind of wonky. Okay. It's going to attack for 2. As you control, gain haste.
Was that new to you too? I hadn't seen that.
This thing?
Yeah, Rally of the
This is
Thorn.
from Lord of the Rings. Plays a Swift Spear. Extra 3. So I could gain 6. Guess I'm not doing it. I need a spell. That's a turn. Well, we had a lot of highs and lows there, but once again, I would like to say that this deck is not fair and should definitely see some bans. Kind of pointless. All right, we're at 3. An Experimental Augury. Cast the Augury. One goes for Red Blast. We go for Weather Storm. That's the turn. It did not help that much. Looking for a deep analysis.
He's only got 2 cards in hand.
Ugh. So you can see, like, we blew them out of pure luck, and now they just completely rebuilt. Where are they? Exactly where they were before, and we are simply dead. Just plan. If I didn't have to blow my Pentad Prism, we would have probably been fine. I have no blue sources here, though. I have 1 blue source, but I'm dead. Let's go to the last round and try to pull out a 3-2. All right, we're in. Okay, we're in round 5. We're versus Lujo. And I'm pretty excited, actually, because he's been on, like, mono black piles. Loves to play mono black piles. And we are good versus mono black piles, I think. We have a lot of life gain. It's gonna be interesting. I'm kind of excited.
What is mono black piles?
Oh, it's mono black, and then I call it piles because it's a janky pile. Janky mono black piles. Plays Perilous Mirror. I mean, that's a lot of pressure already. Okay, let's go Pentad Prism. Done. And then we can use the other mana to cast another Pentad Prism. And then pass the turn. He attacks for 2. Lampad of Death. Oh, that is a good one. So this creature, sacrifice a creature, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. Oh no. I thought this was one of these flips into a 4/4, which is really scary. I'm gonna go with Chalice. I would have liked to play the Inquiry before the Chalice, but I'm just gonna play the Chalice there. Thirsting Roots, proliferate.
I I see. So he's gonna sacrifice his scorpions, and you take
Yeah, and
2.
then deal us some damages. Let's Chalice and then cast this Inquiry. Wow. Okay, so we can play Pentad Prism here, and then we don't have a lot of card draw now, but we have achieved a lot of mana.
Mm.
Cast Contentious Plan, and then here we are, done. Now we can weather the storm. We're 6. And then we have there's a bug with control. All right, that's the turn. Pretty good turn 3. Pretty good.
Mhm.
Not good enough versus red, of course, but it's fine. So he's attacking for 4. Can sacrifice a creature. Well, let's just draw a card, and then probably play the Woodlot here. Get more mana on the table. I guess maybe Deep Analysis is okay at this point. Not sure. Like, we could Deep Analysis, and then we have it in the yard, so like if he has a Pajuka Bog, it's a problem. Plays a Serrated Scorpion. I didn't even realize he only has 1 card in hand. So he's just kind of trying to go the distance with his creatures. Analysis. Another Pentad Prism. Another Deep Analysis. So we'll do that. With the one from the graveyard, I mean. Okay, so what can we do here? Play the Pentad Prism. Now we are kind of stocked. This is wild. 1, 2, 3, 4.
You thinking about this in the insight?
I really want to cast the Insight, but I probably should wait. I will just cast the Inquiry here. I don't think I'm going to die on this turn. All right, now next turn is going to be very serious. 4 prisms in play, it's wild. Just lead on the Contentious Plane and then start going. Probably win next turn. So we can draw 8 cards. He gets in. Bam. It's nice to finish on a high note, I guess. Play this. So we want to Chalice to get that onto the table so that we are making even more mana.
This is
Contentious
actually a really good
Plan.
matchup for you.
This is kind of redonkulous.
Yeah.
I guess it makes the whole league worth it, even though I just lost so hard to the other decks.
Well,
It's
we
a
were talking
magical
about this, right?
experience at the moment. Okay,
Yeah.
so now every single proliferation spell we cast is a ritual. We'll just float a green, a blue, blue, cast this. The thing at this point just becomes clicking. Click, click, click. Okay, let's start from the right. Go right to left. So tiny. Okay, done. And now blue. That's an augury. We're just looking for proliferation. You try to win this turn or try to draw a lot of cards. I'm going with the draw a lot of cards planned. We have so much mana.
Yeah. This is the beauty.
Blue, draw 2.
It's a bad matchup for him too, right? Because he can gain a lot of life, but life means
Well, he's like on a removal deck because he can sacrifice his creatures for value to deal damage to other creatures. But if I don't have any creatures, what are you going to do?
yeah.
I mean, I think I just draw cards here. It's a hard life, but I'll just draw cards. Actually, he can sacrifice creatures to deal me some damage. Cast this with multi-kicker. I probably shouldn't let myself get too low and just get cocky and lose the game. Insight. All my things are huge. I can cast another Insight.
There we go.
And I'm trying to hold on to the Weather of the Storm in case he has some shenanigans. Because right now he has Sacrifice a Creature, which can deal me 6. For 3 mana. Whee! Should we bring in Arms of Hadar? I don't know.
Well, like the scorpions, when they go to the graveyard, doesn't that do damage to you?
It does do damage to me. but they also attack multiple times.
Would fogging be better?
I just think we just stick to the plan. Just do the same thing.
Okay.
Because the weather the storms were fine. Let's do that. Okay. We're gonna keep. So Lujo is he's in Croatia, I believe.
Oh wow.
But I don't know what time it is there. I think it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. All right. They land on a serrated scorpion. So the option is to I think I want to get my depletion land into play, minimum. And then probably just go for the inquiry, playing out the blue land.
It is 4 o'clock there.
No, duress.
Oh. What?
Probably takes the inquiry, I would guess. Or I could take one of the proliferation spells. I need to keep him poisoned so that every single spell is going to get closer to ending the game. But I
I'd probably
really
take
want to have my multi-card draw spells versus just the cantrips. Because these only draw one card. This doesn't really do anything at the moment.
the prologue is at instant speed.
Yeah.
He's probably having that exact conversation.
Okay,
Oh,
it takes the augury. Probably looking to pressure my life total. We're going to go to 17. Okay, so he's got sacrifice stuff. This only costs 1 mana. The Village Rites is the thing that I was talking about. Interesting. So I think I'm going to land right here. Put the mana back on my depletion. And I'm going to pass the turn. So we're running out of mana, I guess. It's in for 2. We're at 13. That's a prologue. And a Vivisurgent Insight. Okay. Very solid. Next turn we can Insight. And then we'll have just the black floating, but then... So we could be very close to dead. We're at 11. We're going to go to 10. 3 mana. Oh, Reaping the Graves. Oh. So we definitely could be dead very soon. Sacrifice. What does it do? Oh, he can just wipe his own board and then deal me a lot? A very large amount? I think I'm going to blow this land. Valkyrie. I'm looking for green source. On a pentad. The pentad. Green roots. You. 1, 2. This is exactly enough to insight. I think I have to not play my land. I found the weather. So now I can play the land. A contentious land. New. And we found the weather of the storm, so we should be able to not die here. Weather. It is a cool list that he's playing for sure. Because he can just wipe his entire board and deal me a very large amount of damage. With this. He deals 2 to everything, so everything just straight up dies. He can actually activate the Crypt Rats while also doing this at the same time. Very fancy.
Yep.
Very fancy.
If it wasn't for the fact that you could probably win.
I think I win here, but I still like the idea that's going on here.
Definitely mid-range either.
Okay. Let's stop. I gotta stop chatting and start winning the game. Anti Prism. So we just have it. We can pick the weather there, but it doesn't really matter what we pick. And then prologue. All right, I tried to give him the GGs. Okay. All right, so we went Affinity 2-0, Terror 2-0, Mono Blue, barely lost, I guess, but I felt like that's a deck that you usually 0-2. And then we 0-2 to Mono Red. We mulliganed to 5 in game 1, and then game 2 we mulliganed again, and they just had fast hand with turn 3 kill for a bajillion, where we wiped their board, and then they immediately rebuilt completely and attacked again. It's just ridiculous. But we got the 3-2, so I'm very happy. Honestly, anytime you 3-2 with the brew, I feel pretty good about it.
It was awesome. You did fantastic.
I think this deck is really great if you want to play against mid-range stuff. Obviously, if people are just going hard on glitters and mono red, and I guess mono blue fairies is going to be a problem. It's pretty good actually against blue X fairies because they don't have quite as fast of a clock and quite as many ninjas, so you can really get them with the serrated arrows and the anoint with affliction a lot better. Moment's Peace is something that's we brought it in against terror, so it's good against terror. It's really good against heroic, like mono heroic. It can be touch and go in the metagame versus the other aggro decks just because they're so fast with all the glitters right now. Still a little bit frustrated that mono red is so powerful, but I've been playing that deck as well, and sometimes you just run against people that are well stocked against you, and this deck is not quite well stocked against mono red. We did our best. Did you have any questions to close it out before we get out of here?
No, I think I'm good. Thanks, man. I really appreciate
Well, I
letting me
appreciate
run this.
you. I appreciate you supporting with the Patreon and just being part of it. And thank you
Yeah.
to everybody for watching. We'll see you in the next video.